Hello, Coldwater family. I'm Mr. Copeland, and I'm going to read a book with you all today. It's called Merry Christmas, Curious George by Margret and H.A. Right, let's look. Look here on this very first page. Who is this? That's Santa Claus. And who's that down there? That is Curious George, our favorite little monkey who gets in trouble sometimes, doesn't he? Let's open up our page here and see what happens. This is George. He lived with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George was visiting a Christmas tree farm. "You can help me pick out the perfect tree for our home," his friend told him. "Keep close to me while we look." George promised to be good, but little monkeys sometimes forget. Let's look at that Christmas tree farm. Look at all those trees. The Christmas tree farm had more trees than George had ever seen. He found a nice one right away, but then another caught his eye, and then one more, and then another. George was very curious. How many Christmas trees could there be? Look at George climbing the trees, swinging and jumping, huh? Wouldn't that be fun to be a monkey, to be able to do that? That would be fun. Look at this big tree right here. Wow. George could not resist climbing up the tallest tree to get a better view. He looked for the man with the yellow hat, but his friend was nowhere in sight. Two men tromped into the clearing. "There's our tree," one man told the other. The men cut down the tree and loaded it onto a truck. See that? There's their truck. There's the tree. They're cutting it down. They loaded on the truck along with George. George held on tightly. He saw the man with the yellow hat as the truck drove away, but the truck was going too fast. George could not jump off. He was scared, but still a little curious. Look at him hanging on the tree. Soon the truck stopped in front of a hospital. George peeked out of the branches as the men carried his tree inside. Look at that. He's still on the tree. When it says he peeked out, it means he looked out, right? The hospital was a busy place. George jumped out of the tree. There was lots here to see and do. He looked at some interesting pictures. He found a jacket and tried it on. He played on a trampoline. He even went for a ride on a speedy little cart. What fun! Look at that. Are those pictures? No, that's an X-ray. That's a picture. I guess it's a picture of our bones, not like a normal picture, right? And the jacket he tried on was the doctor's lab coat. And the trampoline, it was a bed, right? And then the cart was a cart full of books, probably for the kids. Then George spotted something very interesting. His tree. George knew that Christmas trees were supposed to have tinsel and twinkling lights and shiny ornaments. But this tree was empty. George thought, and then he had an idea. Look at this. What do you think his idea is? Looks like he's busy doing something, huh? Let's see. Next, George spotted a pile of gifts in the corner of the room. The gifts looked pretty, but George was curious. Could he make them look even prettier? This red bow would look much better on the green box, and the name tags might look nicer on different packages too. Uh-oh. Looks like he's switching people's gifts around. I don't know if they'll be happy about that. A nurse arrived, and what did she see? A monkey, and he's making a big mess. Does that nurse look happy? I don't think she's happy about what George has been doing, right? A group of children crowded around the nurse. They were all patients at the hospital. Even though it was almost Christmas, the children were not smiling or looking happy. "Come along," the nurse said, picking up George. "I'd better get you out of here before you can ruin anything else." Looks like she's just picked him up and she's going to walk right off. And those children don't look very happy right now, do they? A girl with a cast stared at George's tree. Suddenly, she giggled. "Look," she said, "it's my X-ray." A boy laughed. "And there's the balloon from my room." All the children started chattering and laughing as they looked at George's funny decorations. Were they mad or sad? No, it looks like they're happy. It said they giggled and laughed. And look at this. "Can't he stay for the party?" a boy asked the nurse. "We don't mind about the gifts. It will be fun to sort them out." "Please let him stay, please," the other children chimed in. They want him to stay. When she saw how happy the children looked, the nurse looked happier too. "I suppose he can stay," she said, "if he promises to help fix the tree." So it looks like they took all the medical things and the things from the kids' room down. It looks like they're going to start all over. George was happy to help. The children helped too. Some of them returned George's decorations, while others handed George the real ornaments. He scampered up and down, stringing lights and hanging tinsel. Being a monkey, he was good at that sort of thing. He was also good at making the children laugh. You see him climbing up the tree with the lights, and look at that, he's juggling ornaments with his feet. When the tree was finished, George helped open the gifts. He was having such a good time that he completely forgot he was lost. Looks like he made new friends. Until the man with the yellow hat hurried into the room. "There you are, George," he cried. "I followed that truck all the way here." George was very happy to be reunited with his friend. The nurse invited them both to stay for milk and cookies. Ho, ho, ho! Did someone mention milk and cookies? A man in a red suit walked into the room, his belly jiggling. He was holding a beautiful golden star. Who do you think that was, huh? George's eyes widened. It was Santa Claus. "Who would like to put the star on top of the tree?" Santa asked. "George!" the children cried at once. "Let George do it." George scurried up the tree one last time. He put the golden star in place carefully. "Merry Christmas, Curious George!" Isn't that beautiful? What a wonderful story that was. That's the end of our story. George he made a mess at first, but he was being very helpful, right? He just kept trying. He was trying to do good. And sometimes he made mistakes along the way, and those things are okay, right? As long as we keep trying to do good and be helpful, that's what's most important. And that's one reason I love our friend, Mr. Curious George. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you around the school. All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.